Twins today. Jay Will, you saw the football squad. We are jam-packed on a crazy Monday, and it begins with Game 2 last night in OKC. Jay Will, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and company looking to reestablish order in these finals at home, and they did that early and often.
And Greeny, right out of the gate, the ball had energy. SGA, J-Dub got people involved, and also SGA getting to his operational zones on the court with ease.
And Marcus, another big storyline last night. They got big contributions off their bench.
Hey, very impressed with Aaron Wiggins, man. Like, not playing in the previous games and coming out and having 18 points off the bench, shooting the three with confidence. He stepped up big for OKC.
He was phenomenal. Then here's more from SGA. Look at the move, Jay Will, a 19-2 run.
He slithers like AI, but has the footwork of Kobe. It's so impressive.
And Markeith, 20 for Alex Caruso off the bench.
He continues to be that savvy vet that they need, man. Alex Caruso is playing at a high level right now, and he's going to continue to lead this young.
Can we get an Indiana highlight? Not one.
Unfortunately, they didn't give us many. Now we're in the second half. That's J-Dub. He had 19, OKC by 18. And then look at SGA just sizing up Nesmith.
I mean, it's just a classic SGA move. And by the way, OKC had their foot on their neck, and they never let it off.
Up 19 after 3. More from SGA as we go to the fourth quarter as they look to put the finishing touches. He had 34 points, 8 assists.
Yeah, 34 points on 21 shots. You think somebody studied tape and got to the spots on the court? Yes, that's who SGA is as a player.
We are all even at one game apiece. That's Tyrese Halliburton. There was no reason to show him in the game because he didn't really do much. Shai has been unbelievable in this postseason. Last night was his 11th 30-point, 5-assist performance in this postseason. Look at the screen. That is tied with LeBron James and Michael Jordan for the most all-time. And afterwards, the MVP unruffled.
You can't just throw the first punch. You got to try to throw all the punches all night. And yeah, that's what we did. We threw enough punches tonight to get a W.
Shai, you can mark down 34 points before they even get on the plane tomorrow, for the next game. I mean, the guy's going to score. We gotta find ways to make it as tough as possible on him.
Unable to do that last night were the Pacers. So to you, what was the story, the headline of this game?
I think they just got back to being themselves, not overthinking the game, just basically making Indiana play to their strengths. I mean, obviously, OKC hasn't lost back-to-back games all year, so the home court advantage for OKC is big, but I think they played their style of basketball. There was no rush shots from SGA. They didn't overthink the game and go small early. They just really played their game, took it to Indiana, and Indiana couldn't withstand it.
One of the stories, Marcus, in Game 1 was that we felt that perhaps OKC was adjusting to Indiana. Last night, they went out and played their game and were basically dominant from the opening tip.
Yeah, they kind of just went small, right? I couldn't understand that adjustment, but they went back to their normal style of basketball. And let's just say, take our hats off to SGA. He stabilized this game from start to finish. You can tell his energy was like, we're not going to lose this game, right? And the other guys just followed. Chet had a big coming out party because Game 1 he was absent. We didn't see him, right? And Jalen Williams slowed it down. But SGA is the catalyst for that, right? To be able to have your team just calm, mellow, and like he said in his post-game interview, punch and keep punching. Don't take our foot off the gas.
I'm glad that we got all the OKC love out of the way. Because for me, Halliburton can close games, but champions open the games with intent. And they set the tone. They just don't react to it. I mean, going into the third quarter, Halliburton, 26 minutes last night, 5 points on 2 of 7 field goals. I need him to look at the rim at the beginning of the game. This team is exponentially better, and I know they got one on the road. But you can make a case if he didn't hit that game winner after Game 1, we'd be talking about the same tone. He wasn't aggressive. And this Indiana team is better when he comes out and he attacks. Just doesn't settle for passing the ball and getting people involved.
Well, look, one of the storylines of this entire postseason has been where Tyrese Halliburton fits into the general pecking order of greatness in the NBA. If there's one thing he has proved, he's as clutch as anybody maybe ever late in these games. But to your point, there are no shows. There are these performances every now and again in every series, it feels like, where you almost forget that he was even in the game.
Well, look, Game 1, you saw SGA come out and attack right away, right? You didn't see that in Game 2. You saw the ball have rhythm. But still, he was very intentional in the way he played. It feels at times when you watch Hallie, he just floats on the court. And you have to really ask yourself, and even if you understand basketball, you see the kick-ahead passes, you see defensively how he's active, but it just sometimes you're like, wait, is he playing? Right. And then all of a sudden, closing time, that's when he steps up. But he needs to be different throughout the course of the first 3 quarters.
If you just look at the stat sheet, it says he had 17 points last night. It didn't feel that way. A lot of that was empty in the fourth quarter when this game was decided. So if you were to say to him, my man, this is what we need from you in Game 3, what would you say to Tyrese Halliburton?
I would say just pick the energy up early. I mean, it is not about shooting the ball, how many shots you take. It's the energy, like Jay Will said. You standing off to the side, you pass it, you stand. No, we need you in the paint. We need you making plays. We need you be aggressive from tip ball. Yeah, I just got to say that. But let me give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. And the only reason I am is because he's not a scorer. He's not a 30-point game. He's not a mid-range player. Like, he plays with pace. He keeps the team flowing. So, but obviously they need him to be offensively better to win this series. Like, OKC is going to score the ball. You're not going to stop SGA. Carlisle just said it, right? You can book him down for 30. Now we need Tyrese Halliburton to at least kind of like show that same aggressiveness so his team can follow.
Yeah, but 6 assists and 5 turnovers, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. We talk about them taking care of the ball for a guy like Hallie. It's just playing with the pace. Yeah. And at times it just seems like he's a little bit lethargic on the court. That's not what you want to see. It's a sign of a young leader, right? And we're watching him grow in front of our eyes.
Look, OKC, we've referred to them all through the season as the 85 Bears. They're so dominant defensively. In Game 1, the Pacers were able to score in big numbers, and that's how they were able to beat them. Did OKC figure them out? I think you used the term, they figured out how to shut their power off, is the terms I saw in your notes. What did their defense do last night that completely stymied Indiana?
It just feels as if Indiana really elevates their game in controlled chaos, and OKC brings the structure to the table. Oh, no, we're going to beat you down in a cumulative effect time after time after time. It's like being suffocated with a pillow. That's what it feels like their defense is on Tyrese Halliburton.
So every single game has its own feel, and then after every single game, we are professional overreactors. So there's 2 different ways we can look at this series right now. One, Indiana got what they came for. They went to OKC, they needed 1 win, they got their split. The other is, the Thunder looked last night like they are exactly the team we expected coming into this series. So where are we right now? Who has the advantage in these NBA Finals going to Game 3?
I'm going to stick with Indiana. Going back home 1-1, you have the advantage. Playing on your home floor, you have the advantage. Obviously, OKC hasn't lost 2 games back-to-back, so we didn't go into this game thinking that Indiana would win. We were all been surprised that they did. You didn't want to see the type of energy they had, but in my mind, Rick Carlisle kind of threw some different lineups out there, kind of like dabbled with a little bit of different things, knowing that it would be tough to get this game too. I still think that Indiana is in the lead. I think going back home with 2 games on my home floor, knowing I didn't play as well as I did in Game 2, but I won Game 1, I'm feeling real good, and I have an Hall of Fame coach that can back that.
Advantage who, right now?
I would still say advantage OKC, just based off of, like, in the East, that home court advantage didn't mean much.
Right.
So I would still say OKC because I'm still going to lean on the defense, but we did see 2 teams put up 140 against OKC on the road in the playoffs.
I'm going to say it's OKC without a doubt. OKC was up double digits in Game 1. It takes the perfect circumstances for Indiana to have these incredible comebacks. And if you're OKC, you definitely help them to do that. And this, to me, felt more like the OKC team. Now, we get 38-plus points off your bench every game, I'm not sure. But it felt like they had control of the game from beginning to end.
But with that being said, it looked the same way against the Knicks. It literally looked the exact same. They controlled the whole first game and the second game, and
they stole Game 1, and the Knicks were never able to come back into it. OKC comes back in a big way in Game 2. We'll see what happens. The series shifts now to Indiana for Game 3 starting Wednesday. More on the hoops as we go, but it was an incredible weekend in sports. Let's take you through it in reverse order. Yesterday, were you watching the 4-hole playoff of the Canadian Open? Because I was. Ryan Fox from New Zealand.